Hello and welcome to Essay Writing in English. My name's Barry and I'll be your professor for this course. Today I've prepared a short PowerPoint to tell you a little bit about the class, and we're going to go over Unit 1 in the textbook together. And then at the end I've got a short assignment for you to do to get started on Unit 1. This course is online for now. Hopefully we will be meeting in person soon once this corona issue gets resolved. But for today, we'll just go through these PowerPoint slides, and I've recorded my voice to explain a few things to you to make it easier. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay. So, essay writing. What will we do in this course? Well, we're going to be writing a lot. And we're going to start from the basics, actually at the sentence level, writing good, well-formed sentences that have subjects and verbs and extra details and are spelled correctly and have correct punctuation. Then we'll move into writing short paragraphs with a good topic sentence and then supporting sentences, and finally a concluding sentence. After we practice writing good paragraphs, we'll move towards the end of the course into writing longer texts, or basically short essays. And we'll do different styles of writing. With the paragraphs, we'll begin with descriptive paragraphs. We'll do some comparison ones and cause and effect and a few other common paragraphs. And we'll do the same with our essays. So we'll get a chance to practice writing in different styles. So you're going to be writing a lot, and you will also be reading a lot, because one of the best ways to become a good writer is to read a wide variety of good writing. And then you can not copy, but sort of emulate their writing and make it your own, and that will help you become a better writer. And so, as part of that, we're going to be reading each other's writing and giving feedback. We'll learn how to give good feedback to help each other improve our writing. You can't write well without good grammar. So we'll also learn useful grammar for the different styles of writing we're going to do, and common collocations, which are just strings of words that are commonly used together. That will help our writing be better, but also more fluent, and so you can write more quickly. So that is our plan, and those are the goals for this course. On the next slide, I'll tell you a little bit about the tools that you'll need for this course. So the tools we'll need for this course, there are two main things. Great Paragraphs 2. It's from the Great Writing series, and I've got a picture of the cover of this book here. This book is not the newest version. However, it was available as a free ebook, and that's why I chose it. So I have posted this an ebook, a copy of this ebook, to Canvas, our class website, and you'll find that in the files section of Canvas, so that you can do your homework. Especially now, since we have not been on campus yet, you haven't had a chance to buy any books. This way you can see the book on your computer, read it, and start doing the homework right away. So again, that is our book. It's free. It's excuse me. Need a sip of water there. It's free. It is, again, on Canvas under the Files section. And when we start meeting in person, you will need to print out the pages that we need for each class because it's much easier to follow along if you have a paper copy, and then you can also write notes on it. But for now, for the online class, you can use the e-copy and read it on your computer or phone. So I mentioned Canvas earlier. That is the other main tool that we will use for this class. Canvas is where you'll find our syllabus for the class that has my contact information and the grade information. And you will also on Canvas find the book, ebook, under the Files section. And I will post our assignments there too. You'll see there's an online discussion assignment already set up for this week. And you will find that if you go to Modules Week 1, you'll find the assignment there. All right, next we'll talk about grades. Okay, I'm sure you are all wondering about grades, how grading will work in this course. We will have a midterm exam that's 20% of your final grade, and a final exam will be 30% of your final grade. Both of those exams will be written exams. This is a writing class, so of course you will be tested on your writing. And you'll be writing paragraphs for the midterm and a short essay for the final exam. And you'll write those in class. There's also, of course, the textbook homework and possibly some quizzes that you'll be doing. And then you'll have a writing portfolio that you'll do where you keep track of all the writing you do for this class and the different drafts. And this will help you see how you have improved from the beginning of the semester to the end of the semester. So textbook homework and quizzes, which also includes participation in class, will be 30% of your grade. And then your writing portfolio will be 20% of your final grade. Okay, so now we are going to go through Unit 1 in your textbook. So you will need to have the Great Paragraphs 2 textbook ready. Again, this is on Canvas. You'll find it in the Files section. And the first unit is quite long. We won't do everything in the unit, but I will go through page by page here and explain what's important and what you need to do for homework. So feel free to pause if you need to look through the book or to stop and go get your book. And I'll try to speak slowly so that it's not too hard to follow along. Okay, so starting on page 1, you got our title for Unit 1 is What is a Paragraph? This just explains a little bit about what a paragraph is, how we put it together. So you don't need to spend a lot of time on that. The next page, there's an example paragraph about Braille. You can skip that, and the next page as well. You can skip that. On page 4, if you look at Activity 2, Writing Practice, at the top of this page, it says, think of something that is unique about you. It can be about your hobby, language, or family. Write 5 sentences about that topic. And it asks you, what verb tense will you use? Now, you are just describing yourself. So what verb tense would you use for that? Any guesses? Probably the simple present tense. So go ahead and write 5 sentences about the topic you choose there. The next activity below there, activity 3, we're going to study an example paragraph. This paragraph is about food and making a food, egg salad sandwich. It explains how to make something. So go ahead and read that carefully. Then on the next page, page 5, number 1, it asks you to write what's the main purpose of this paragraph. Why did the author write this? Number 2, you can skip. I don't know how popular egg salad is in Korea. I haven't seen it too often. I actually made one when I was in the US last time. They're quite good, but you can skip number 2. Number 3, though, please do. So think about another easy recipe. What is something that is easy to make, something that you make maybe at home from time to time? And write the steps that you need to make that food. On page 6, there's a note here about the imperative form, and that is just a grammar note about giving directions. So in that egg salad sandwich paragraph, they use the imperative form a lot because they're telling you what to do. So imperatives usually start with a verb. First, do this. Mash the eggs. Cut the bread. They start with verbs because they're telling you or telling the reader what to do. So activity 4 down below, still on page 6, is writing practice. So this is where you are going to think of a process, something you know how to do. Something, it's a process, so it should have steps. And you're going to use the imperative form to explain how to do it to your reader. So they give you a couple of examples like how to cook spaghetti, or a routine like how to tie a shoe or send a text message. I think it would be a little difficult to explain how to tie a shoe in writing. So I would not choose that one. But think about a process that is fairly simple, that will be easy to explain, that has a few different steps that you can write about. Okay. On page 7, we have another example paragraph. This one is about a person's first flight. So go ahead and read that. And this is an example of a narrative paragraph. So someone is telling about a story or something that happened to that person. So you'll notice they're using the subject pronoun I a lot. Okay. On the next page, page 8, at the top, it's got, you're going to write a couple of questions to ask a classmate about a time when they went on an airplane, about their first time flying. And you've got the writer's note below. Please do that also, about my first flight. I'm going to just answer some questions about that paragraph. Okay, on page 9, activity 6, writing practice, you have something that happened to you, some sort of occasion. Maybe it was a funny thing that happened, or maybe it was a sad thing, but I hope you can find something positive to write about, and write 5 to 10 sentences that tell that story. Okay, at the bottom of page 9, we've got some details about paragraphs. What features every paragraph has. So you'll notice that every paragraph starts with a topic sentence, and that has the main idea. This tells us what the paragraph will be about. And then all of the sentences that come after the topic sentence are detail sentences. They all should be related to the topic sentence and give us more information about it. Another feature is that we're on page 10 now. The first line of the paragraph should always be indented, so you leave a little space and then start a little bit inside the margin. for the first paragraph. And finally, the last sentence brings your paragraph to a conclusion. So you've got your introduction, main idea, and then some supporting sentences, and then your final sentence, your concluding sentence, which summarizes everything nicely. Okay, activity 7, we've got another example paragraph about kids and pets. Go ahead and read that. And on page 11, there are some questions to answer about it. Page 12, you can skip. On page 13, another example paragraph about using computers, how students use computers. And you'll see that how they answered the questions. That's a sample to show you how to do the following paragraph. So you can read that and read their sample answers. On page 14, Simón Bolívar, please skip. Please skip that. Page 15, you can also skip. Page 16, you can skip this one too. So we'll pick up on page 17, a short paragraph about why I avoid breakfast. So please read this paragraph and answer the questions below. What's the topic of the paragraph? Is there a topic sentence? If there's not, write your own. Are the sentences all related? If there's any unrelated sentences, go ahead and write that there. Is it indented? And underline the concluding sentence. Okay. On page 18, got another example. My first class as a teacher, please read that. And on page 19, answer the questions at the top of page 19. On the bottom of page 19, you have activity 10. This is an important activity to practice capitalizing and using punctuation properly in English. So you've got a sentence that is missing some capitalization and punctuation. So you need to rewrite the sentence and capitalize the important words and put a period or question mark or exclamation point at the end. That activity continues to page 20. On page 21, you can look at the titles and comments. So this is about how to write a good title for a paragraph or a story. Some important things here. It should not be a sentence. It is usually short. And it shouldn't tell you too much. And it should be interesting. So you'll see some examples. So title, I burned the eggs. They say that's a poor title because that's a full sentence and it should not be a full sentence. Okay, and you can read through those examples there. It'll give you an idea of what a good title is and what a bad title is. Okay, so on page 22, activity 11, copying a paragraph. You're going to use your sentences from activity 10, and you're just going to copy them down here in the same order. Start with, think of a good title. What would be a good title for this paragraph? And then be sure to indent your first line. And then go ahead and just copy the sentences 1 through 8, and making sure to use correct capitalization and punctuation. On page 23, you've got a language focus, so grammar. Just practicing verbs, finding the verb in each sentence. and fixing fragments in the second part. So it says where the bank. It's missing a verb, right? So where is the bank? So go ahead and fix those. On page 24, let's skip page 24 and let's skip page 25. We'll go on to page 26 here. So this is a vocabulary activity. I mentioned that one thing we'll be doing in this class is vocabulary work and collocations to make your writing more fluent and more interesting. So activity 14, again, on page 26, you've got, so number 1, a destination. Now, which word means that? Is that a place or a time? And they have circled it for you. It's a place. And number 2, for ingredients, is that related to a recipe or a suitcase? Go ahead. If you don't know, if you have no idea for one of these, go ahead and search online to get some more information about it. For example, if you don't know the meaning of a word. And then down below, activity 15, this is the collocation. So these strings of words that commonly go together. A lot of these, there are no special rules for, so you just need to remember them. Learn them, know them, and remember them so you can use them later. So we always say in brief, like in short or shortly, briefly, in brief. And you can go ahead and do the rest of those. They continue on to page 27. And then finally on page 27, this is the end, you're going to do some original student writing. And that's activity 16, original writing practice. You're going to choose a topic and then make that topic a little bit more specific. You don't want to have a really wide topic because it's hard to write about a broad topic. So for example, if you think of sports, it's hard to write one paragraph about sports. So you want to narrow it down. It could be, for example, tennis, and then that's still a bit too broad. So you could narrow that more and say, for example, okay, I'm going to write about how to keep score in tennis. And you're going to write one paragraph, 5 to 12 sentences. You should have a topic sentence. Be sure to indent the first line and have a good concluding sentence at the end. Make sure you have a title. And try to use 5 vocabulary words or phrases that you saw in activities 14 and 15. Sometimes it's hard to do that, but try your best. If you can do it, then please underline them so I can find them easily. And again, you can use any topic you want. There are some examples at the bottom. You don't have to use these. You can do your own. And for this activity, I'm opening an online discussion in Canvas. So you can just type your answers right into Canvas, the online discussion. That will be available soon. Okay, I hope that was clear, and that takes us all the way through Unit 1. Again, if you missed anything, go back and listen again. And if you have any questions, you can, of course, send me a Kakao message, and I will be happy to help you. So that covers Unit 1. Okay, so what's happening next? First thing you need to do is leave a short comment in English, preferably, under this video on YouTube. That your comment will be your attendance at this lecture. That will prove to Gimcheon University that you were here, that you watched the lecture. So be sure to leave a comment. It's very important. It doesn't have to be long, just maybe 1 or 2 sentences. Okay, so and then for your assignment, complete the activities in Unit 1 in your book. I just talked about that in slide 5. So only do the activities that I told you to do. I remember I said to skip some activities, so please skip those activities and pages and only do the ones I told you to do. Then I also mentioned the online discussion in Canvas, and that is where you're going to write your original student writing from activity 16 on page 27 in your book. After you post your paragraph, you should read your classmates' paragraphs, and you must comment on at least 3 of your classmates' paragraphs. So read your friend's paragraph and then make some comments about it, like, "Oh, that's interesting. That happened to me too," or I have a question about this. Uh, Try to leave a good comment, not just a "ooh, good job." Do something a little bit deeper than that. Okay, so again, short comment in English under this video as your attendance. The activities in Unit 1, your online discussion, and comments on your 3 of your classmates' discussions. If you have any questions, send me a Kakao message as always. Okay, that brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for following along. I know it was a bit long, especially going through the textbook, but I wanted to do it with you to make it a little bit easier, to make it clearer, and so you didn't feel like it was too difficult. Unit 1 is long, but we cut out quite a few things to make it shorter and more useful. So as always, if you have any questions about anything in this presentation or about your assignments, send me a message in our group chat room on Kakao. And hopefully we will be having class in person soon. And I look forward to seeing your faces soon. So I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.